y'all. So I need to leave the house to go to the library to volunteer for a bit, but I wanted to get this video over with, and that is talking about some of the books that I read. And this is in no particular order. At first, when I started reading this book, I thought that the tone of the narrative was cute and funky, and I was a little amused by it. But after a while, it started to grate on me. It was extremely repetitive. There were these terms and things that were just repetitive. I know that I might not relate with some YA novels as much as I will relate to an adult novel. But in this case, I don't think it was because it was a young adult book. I just don't think this book was for me. The plot itself was intriguing. I didn't bail on the book. I read it to the end, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't relate to it, and it was kind of boring up until maybe the last 25% of the book. Then it kind of picked up, and I thought it was a really cool ending, but that book just wasn't for me. Then there is Reincarnation Blues by Michael Poore. This book was pretty interesting. It was about someone named Milo who has already lived 9,995 lives, and he only has 5 more lives left to get it right. Otherwise, he's going to turn into nothing. But he's also in love with one representation of death, and he doesn't want to live without her. The book tells you about some of the different lives that he has lived, and a lot of times he almost gets it right and he doesn't, and you see what happens when he comes to the afterlife after each life. I thought it was really good. I don't know if I'm just morbid, but there was one story that one of his lives rather, that there was parallels to my life that was really creepy. Like metaphorically, it kind of explains what I've gone through, and it's the one if you ever read it, it's the life where I think it's called Hasty Pudding or something. That one I related to a lot. I enjoyed it. It's not what I would call a light read. It can be very disturbing and heavy in many ways, but I actually liked it and would recommend it. And we have How to Behave in a Crowd. This book, I don't know really what to say about it. It is definitely a book that is way more character driven than it is plot driven. It doesn't really have a solid, tangible plot. I really can't explain what this book is about, except for you have this family. Everyone else in the family are a bunch of geniuses. They skipped a bunch of grades. They have PhDs and all this stuff. And the protagonist of this book is normal, maybe even a little slower. He just talks about his family, and this book is more of a character study than it is getting A to Z. There's a tragedy in the family, and you do see how some of them change or how some of them cope with the tragedy, but besides that, there really is no A to Z plot. It's really more like a character study, and some people aren't going to like that. It also jumps around a lot. There is no signifier of the passage of time. Like, I'm reading, and then all of a sudden 3 years pass, and I'm like, well, what? Like, where did the 3 years go? And it does jump around. I don't know if it's because of the narrative or the lack of any solid plot. If that's why I didn't hate this book, but I didn't really like it that much. I guess I could say it was okay because it wasn't completely bad. With that, I am happy to say that I'm pretty much caught up. Well, I am caught up with pretty much all the galleys and digital arcs that I have to read. Unless I see something that I am really, really interested in and really, really want to read, I'm not going to be trying to enter to win or request or guarantee copies of any digital galleys or arcs, because I keep finding that I ask for too much and actually get them, and then I get overwhelmed and I start getting burnt out on reading because of the fact that I feel this pressure, because you want to finish the book before it's actually released so you can review it. So right now, I'm pretty much going to focus on the books I already have. And something, if I run across something in the library I really want to pick up, I will. I just started reading this book today, The Narrow River Wide Sky by Jenny Forrester, and I don't really have an opinion on it right now because I'm really at the beginning. So far, I appreciate the writing. I distinctly remember saying that I probably wasn't going to get to this book until like October, this arc, but I only have one other arc to read, so I'm obviously going to get to it. The only other book I have is a digital galley called Blackwing that is released in October, and I have a little bit of time to read it. I don't know when the download expires, but I still have time. So that's about it. I know this is kind of rushed, but I usually do these videos the day or 2 days before, and I couldn't get it done, so I had to do it today instead, and I'm doing it right before getting ready to go to the library to volunteer. So that's why I'm kind of like trying to get through it. But in the meanwhile, my next video is probably going to be about Death Note since it's a book to movie adaptation, but I don't think that's going to be a main video. It's going to be just like an extra video. We'll see. So I hope you have a wonderful week and happy reading.